Good morning, everyone. This is Commissioner Bell. Today is Tuesday, July 28th, 2026, and we'll call this meeting to order at 8 a.m. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to mute your phones. You can do this by pressing *6. Please unmute yourself when called to speak, again pressing *6. It's very important for all others to remain muted. Thank you. Well, welcome, and I will say good morning to my fellow commissioners. Good morning, Commissioner Fournier. Who may not be with us at the moment. Good morning, Commissioner Scar.
Good morning.
We will jump right into the meeting. We don't have Eric Swanson from Adventist Health Tillamook this morning. Let me check in with the Coastal Caucus. Do we have anyone on from the Coastal Caucus?
Yes, ma'am, you do.
Good morning, Senator Weber. How are you? Good morning.
Oh, I'm just fine. I'm just sitting here and looking at the fact that it's not very bright outside yet this morning. And it was kind of darkish this morning when Martin and I got up at about 5:30. I was expecting a little more sunshine, but you know, when the sun doesn't shine like this so early in the morning, then my front yard doesn't get burned and I don't have to water. So it's an interesting conundrum this summer. Nice to be here. Nice to hear your voice. It's been a busy week.
Yours.
I got to go down to Beaver and look at the Shluka project down there for the school, and I'm very impressed with the plans that are being made there for the project. It's ambitious, it's well thought out, and I think it has every chance of success. And I think that the Beaver community should be very happy for how things are moving forward on that. And you know, that school and the property is a wonderful area, and I think that it has every chance of success. So I wish them all well, and I am hoping that our legislative leaders in the future will be able to do whatever they can to make sure that the funding, especially for the proposed housing units, is going to be made available to them, because it's a perfect location, and it has so many things in its favor, including the hope of the Tillamook County Library having a presence, which is so fitting for a school to have a library again. I was also surprised at the condition of the floor in the gym. It's for being vacant as long as it has been, what good shape it is in, and the opportunities that it provides for sustainability into the future. And so I really want to congratulate the folks for the vision going forward with that project. I also participated in a meeting going to the other end of the district on flood mitigation in Seaside, and what's being hoped to be accomplished in there, because you know, the south end of Seaside there, where the trailer camping area is, you know, floods, and there are some real challenges in that area, especially regarding Highway 101, and so it is being continually worked on. Garibaldi Days Parade and activities in Garibaldi for the weekend really highlighted the community and highlighted the buy-in by the community. It was so nice to be there and be in the parade and see everyone and see how Garibaldi just flourishes. Had a very nice meeting with the mayor and several council members about plans for the future, and I'm really encouraged by what's happening in Garibaldi. They're doing things well and right. Yesterday I had the distinct pleasure to go to Scappoose and meet with the Korean delegation who are visiting OMIC, the Oregon, I always get that mixed up. Anyway, Innovative Manufacturing and Innovation Center, and to look at everything that they're doing there. And the delegation from Korea that is visiting the area right now is concentrating on drones. They're going to be visiting other places in the state, including Tillamook and Port of Tillamook Bay this week. So the presentations that we received yesterday on the status of drones and what drones can accomplish is so encouraging, so astounding. And if we as Tillamook County can be a part of that on a worldwide basis, it will be very encouraging to us. Today I get to go up to Camp Rylea and meet with the campers at Camp Rosenbaum and participate in summer camp for one day. Thursday I'll get to be in Salem for meetings, and I always appreciate getting there to my office. I don't know if I had told you that we had a drain above my office that had filled, and it really made a mess in my office. And for several months, I had no walls. I had just studs in there, and the carpet was gone because it all leaked into my office. And from my office, then it went to every other office on the other floors and the adjoining offices also. And so we had quite a mess. And so right now they're planning that I did get walls, which was really good. And I did get a replacement carpet, but now because of the damage of that flood in my office, there will be new carpet on 3 floors of the Senate. So you have to pay attention to those little drains on the roof and what can happen if they get clogged up, even if they're on the Capitol building. And then next week, we've got an exciting time coming, our fair. And we have special guests that are going to be appearing at the fair. This is a wonderful community event, and people from all over the world are looking to attend our fair as the iconic country fair, and we have so much to offer. And some of you know that there are some ladies and myself who make sure that the fair board and the volunteers and the parimutuel have good things to eat during the days of the fair and while they are setting up. And it's fun to get to see the inner workings of the fair and to see how everything comes together and to really enjoy the whole process and the whole experience of community and county and getting together. So other than that, I have something to do every single day that is related to my position, and I enjoy the majority of everything. And I will tell you the thing that I enjoy the most is interaction with my constituents and seeing what it is that impacts their lives and what things need to be changed, what things need to be tweaked, and what things need to be paid attention to. And I appreciate being able to be given the job to be able to do that. So that concludes my report for today. If you have any questions, just let me know.
Thank you, Senator. I'm happy to hear you talk about the Beaver School. I'm glad you got to tour that project and hear about the plans, and I couldn't agree with you more. I think it's just a fabulous vision and will be so good for the community. There's a gas station there and a store. There aren't any gathering places in Beaver at all. There isn't even a restaurant. There are no gathering places in Beaver. And when I first moved to Tillamook County, we lived there. We lived up the Nestucca. And so I'm very familiar with the area and the community. And I'm just so excited that there will be that community hub, in addition to wonderful housing opportunities, a real community hub, sort of like NCRD in North County, not exactly the same, but similar, like a gathering place for the community. I just think it's going to be wonderful.
There are so many opportunities for enriching life in that, enriching rural life, with the other homes that are being built in the area, and, the proximity to the schools and the fields for kids to play in. There's just so much richness that can be appreciappreciated there.
Oh, I agree completely. They're going to have community gardens. When I was touring, they were talking about how they were mapping the sunlight in the back on the property so that they would optimize the sunlight for community garden space and have a big playground and a community kitchen as part of the school, like a commercial kitchen that people could use. It's just going to be extraordinary.
It is. You're absolutely right. It's a real gift to Tillamook County.
Oh, truly. And I'm so grateful for the vision and the generosity of the owner developers, who are a local couple from South Tillamook County who really just want to invest in quality of life in Tillamook County and housing in particular.
Yes. And, that is something we all have to look at. And it's something that when I speak to young people, I especially encourage them to look for ways to be able to serve our communities, because that is going to enhance the richness of all of our lives. And this is something that these people have done, and they have done well. And I think we are going to see fabulous results because of their service to our community.
Yeah, I agree completely. And I was also interested to hear you talk about the Korean delegation at OMIC yesterday. Will you be with them and us tomorrow when they're visiting the Port of Tillamook Bay?
Yes. Yes.
Wonderful. Well, we'll see you there.
Yes, you will be. If you are able to listen to their presentations, you will be so impressed at how what they do moving forward, and all of what a drone can do. And, we've seen what drones can do. We've seen how drones can help loggers, when they have to be able to take their chainsaws and everything up steep cliffs when they're falling trees. We've seen how a drone can lay fire hose. There are so many things that these drones can do that will protect human life and make things easier. I was so impressed with the drone activity, especially in Clatsop County in the forest up there. Then the other thing is with firefighting. Scappoose is a leader in drone technology in fighting fires and rescues, and they have done remarkably well, and they are advocates for drones. The fire chief from Scappoose is very knowledgeable on drones and what they can accomplish.
Well, it is very interesting, and I will be there tomorrow, and I think Commissioner Fournier as well. So hopefully, all of us will be able to report back on that on this call next week.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Do we have Rep. Javity with us this morning? Give him a moment to unmute if he's here. And if not, let's move on to Tillamook County Community Health Center and Camille Sorensen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Today is World Hepatitis Day. It is recognized on the 28th of July every year to raise awareness about viral hepatitis, which is an inflammation of the liver that causes severe liver disease and liver cancer. The theme is Hepatitis, Let's Break It Down, and is a call to remove the barriers that stand between people and the services that can save their lives. Viral hepatitis continues to be a major cause of preventable illness and death worldwide. Effective vaccines, accurate diagnostics, curative treatments for hepatitis C, and lifelong therapies for hepatitis B can prevent infections, save lives, and reduce liver cancer and cirrhosis. Despite this, millions of people remain undiagnosed, untreated, or unable to access care due to stigma, limited awareness, health system gaps, and persistent inequalities. That's why we focus on World Hepatitis Day every year to raise awareness of this disease. As many of you know, the Tillamook County Fair is coming up, and we want to share a few tips to help you and your family enjoy the fair and avoid exposure to some common viruses and bacteria. One of the important things you can do while enjoying the fair is to wash your hands with soap and water often, especially after you've visited the animal areas, use the restroom, rode some rides, or before touching any food or beverages. There will be hand washing stations around the fairgrounds, including outside the animal barns and in the carnival areas. If one's not nearby, you can use alcohol-based hand sanitizer instead. Washing your hands is the #1 way to prevent the spread of germs, including bacteria such as Salmonella or E. coli that can cause foodborne illness and viruses. We hope everyone has fun at the fair and stays healthy. And finally, on Friday, August 28th, our public health staff will be hosting an event for International Overdose Awareness Day. The event will be held at the Blue Heron French Cheese Company in Tillamook from 3 to 6 p.m. There will be live music, craft making, resources, and naloxone training. There will be free meals provided for the first 150 attendees. We hope to see everybody there. And that is my report for today.
Thank you, Camille. Let's move
You're
on
welcome.
to the Nehalem Bay Health. Thanks. Let's move on to the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy and Gail Nelson. Give Gail a moment to unmute if she's with us. And if not, let's move on to Tillamook Family Counseling Center and Amanda Bunger.
Hello, everyone. I have a very fun report today. Tillamook Family Counseling, in partnership with Tillamook County Suicide Prevention Coalition, is hosting a free movie night tomorrow at the Tillamook Coliseum Theater. Both showings tomorrow at 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. of Moana will be completely free to the public. So we hope that people come, enjoy the movie, and we will also have a free resource table for individuals to learn more about the coalition and suicide prevention. So again, free movie day tomorrow, both the 4 p.m. showing and the 7 p.m. showing. So that's super fun, and that's my report for today.
Well, that is fun, and thank you. Thanks. On behalf of the community, thanks for offering that to the community. It's wonderful.
Of course, anytime we can get the word out about the coalition and suicide prevention, we are all about it. So thank you.
Thank you. Do we have Randy Thorpe with us this morning from Emergency Management? I think we may not. Randy may be on vacation now that I'm remembering. So let's move on to the Board of Commissioners and Commissioner Scar.
Good morning. Thank you. Just a couple of things today. There was a special Board of Forestry meeting last week at which they officially approved the Forest Management Plan. The Forest Management Plan, also called the FMP, is the next step in implementing the Habitat Conservation Plan, or HCP, which is currently pending at the federal level. So there's been a number of articles that I have seen pop up online and in local newspapers regarding the Forest Management Plan. So I wanted to give a little bit of information. So the Forest Management Plan is a framework of how the forest is managed. It's something that if the Habitat Conservation Plan is approved at the federal level, and I want to say that one more time, if the Habitat Conservation Plan is approved at the federal level, then this forest management plan goes into practice. So recently, if you're following the federal news, you will see that a definition was changed in relation to the Endangered Species Act, which is the definition related to harm. And the definition we have been functioning with since the 1970s indicates that any destruction of habitat is defined as harm, and therefore plans like the Habitat Conservation Plan are based on preserving habitat. Well, with the change of the definition in harm, there's question as to what does that really mean for the Endangered Species Act, and therefore what does that really mean for the Habitat Conservation Plan. So the Board of Forestry had a lot of conversation in their special meeting around that particular topic and determined that they would go ahead and pass the forest management plan with the caveat that it will go into effect if and when the Habitat Conservation Plan is approved, and then what they call incidental take permits will be issued from the federal government that says if a spotted owl or a murrelet is in the harvesting area, that's okay because you've given them enough other places to live. So that was kind of a complicated explanation, but at the end of the day, Oregon Department of Forestry took the next step toward the HCP, which is approving the FMP. So more to come in the future, but nothing. It's a necessary procedural step, but it does not mean that that particular plan is currently active and in effect. It means it is ready to go when the time comes. So that was last week's FMP. Couple other things that I have going on. I mentioned before, appointed to the Land Conservation and Development Commission at the state level. There is a public hearing tomorrow related to middle housing rules that have been under creation, if you will, by a rules advisory committee. So tomorrow I will be participating in that hearing where we hear public comment on the rules that have been proposed. And then in about a month from now, the LCDC will convene again to determine if we are approving those rules, if we are making edits to those rules before we approve them, or if we are sending them back to committee. So just that's, my second meeting of this group, but it's a really substantial one because it has to do with how middle housing, which we tend to term as our workforce housing, is allowed to be built in urban growth boundaries. So it does impact our 7 incorporated cities, and it's an exceptionally important piece of rulemaking. So that is coming up. I will be sitting in and hearing all of those public comments tomorrow. And then the last thing I'll bring up is we have the USDA state director in town. So USDA, in this case, mostly often we talk about USDA rural development, and that is projects that the federal government helps by providing loans or grants for infrastructure projects such as water and sewer, for community facilities, for broadband. There are a lot of different opportunities that rural communities have to work with USDA rural. So the state director will be here today. I have an opportunity to join the director and some other folks for lunch. So I'm looking forward to that and sort of hearing the vision for Oregon that this new director has around getting those funds out to our rural communities. So more to come on that as I have the opportunity to do that. And with that, Commissioner Bell, I will turn it back over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, let me just ask if Commissioner Fournier has been able to join us. If not, I'll share a couple things quickly. One is last week we enjoyed Marlene Putman's retirement party. And so that was, it was a remarkable milestone for not only for Marlene, of course, but for the county and for Tillamook County Community Health Centers. Marlene has just been a fabulous leader and administrator of that department and grown it to meet the community's needs in tremendous ways. It made it self-sustaining and really just a vibrant part of the healthcare landscape. And so we are very fortunate to have had Marlene in that role all these years. And I remember I don't remember exactly when this was, but 15 or more years ago. I remember, I think right before Marlene took that job, I was working for the Headlight Herald, and I was attending commissioners' meetings and reporting on what was happening with the county. And at that point, the health department was $500,000 in the red. And the commissioners at that time said, that we can't, the county cannot support the health department from the general fund. And so the health department needs to sink or swim. And needs to operate like an independent business, be self-sustaining and successful that way, because there simply isn't money in the general fund for the health department to be supported. And so then in the intervening years, Marlene Putman really made that happen, in addition to the Affordable Care Act, of course, which provided funding for Medicare patients. Marlene, her leadership and her team, working with a team of people, really did extraordinary things with the health department. And so the whole community benefits from the services that we receive there. And I just wanted to take a moment here to acknowledge Marlene Putman and her contributions to the community, which have been vast. And I'm very happy for her that she gets to retire. We all are, and we welcome the new director, a woman named Sandra Asasnik, and she has started, and there will be a transition time. Marlene will provide whatever kind of assistance Sandra needs on an on-call basis, and so that's generous, and there's a terrific transition plan. And so I just wanted to publicly thank Marlene for her many years of excellent service. There are things that work very well here in Tillamook County, and people who are behind those successes. So thank you, Marlene, and Marlene's team, of course. And let's see, we're excited about the fair. I'm the fair liaison. I love the fair. We're excited about the fair. We've gotten at least one more application for the Fair Board. Thank you. So we have 3 openings for the Fair Board, and we welcome people to apply. You can apply. You can find the application on our website. You can also get to it through the Fair website, or just go into the Fair office, although they're pretty busy right now. And we'll process those applications after the fair and interview people for those things. But as the fair liaison, I just want to encourage people to consider exhibiting at the fair, because the exhibits, I think, are one of the best things about the fair. Everybody has their favorite things. The Pig and Fords, of course, are fabulous, and the horse racing is wonderful. There's a lot of great things to love about the fair, but I love exhibits because they're really, from my perspective, they're really the heart and soul of the community. It's the things that people are growing and making and creating. What's growing in your garden? What have you baked this year or canned this year that you're really proud of? Or beautiful photos you took, or artwork, or something, a quilt. Or I love seeing the creative part of our community exhibited at the fair. So I encourage you to look around your house, look around your garden, and just think about what could you share with your neighbors. It doesn't have to be something award-winning. It's really about sharing with your neighbors, like, hey, here's what I did this year, and what did you do? So please check it out and think about what can you exhibit at the fair this year, and then you get online to register to exhibit, and that's coming right up. That's next week on Monday and Tuesday, because the fair starts on Wednesday. So with that, I will move on to the cities, starting with the city of Manzanita. Do we have Linda Kozlowski or someone on from the city of Manzanita?
This is Linda Kozlowski from the city of Manzanita. Can you hear me?
Good morning. Yes, we can.
Oh, good morning. Good morning. Well, I'd just like to add a comment to Marlene Putman's wonderful career at the county. We have a robust and energetic medical reserve corps, which is here to respond to any kind of emergency throughout Tillamook County. And without Marlene's support, that would never have happened. So she really has done an amazing job of helping the county move forward from, at least from our perspective, from a medical perspective. So we're going to miss Marlene a lot. So in Manzanita, we had our mayor's coffee on July the 23rd, and there was a very robust discussion in that meeting focused on our short-term rental ordinance. It's currently frozen with a total number of short-term rentals, and there's a proposed update in the ordinance. To clarify, we have a freeze on the number of licenses for STRs. After a 2-year process, the STR Standing Committee has proposed an update. Hopefully, we'll be able to consider the update in council and approve the next step. Because of the amount of time this council has spent discussing alternatives, our goal is to complete that process by the end of this year. I am really pleased to announce that we are happily moving forward in the city search for our next city manager. We received a total of 31 resumes. On August the 4th, the council will have the opportunity to narrow that list of candidates for further evaluation. Jensen Strategies, our search firm, has put together a robust and transparent interview process. The public will have a number of ways to give feedback, but particularly on Tuesday, August the 25th at 6 p.m. in the City Hall, we will have a public reception for the finalists, and everyone is invited. The city will also host 3 separate panel discussions, one with staff, one with peer administrators, and one from the community leadership. If you're interested in participating, please check the Manzanita website for specific times and locations. So far, the process has worked very well, and we are all looking forward to a positive outcome. So that's my report from Manzanita, and thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Linda. Do we have anyone on from the city of Nehalem or Wheeler? How about Rockaway Beach and Mayor McNeely?
Good morning. I'm here this morning. All right, let me begin with our fire department. Good morning. Let's begin with the fire department. The fire department staff met with SSW Consulting yesterday to take a final look at their strategic goals and ensure all remaining insights are captured for their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats analysis. This collaborative effort marks an important milestone in shaping the fire department's future direction, and we do anticipate seeing a draft of that analysis in August. The fire department, the demand has remained constant throughout the month. To date, in 2026, the department crews have responded to 291 emergency 911 calls, including 49 calls received during the month of July, as of last Friday. Of the emergency calls received to date, 49% have involved individuals who are not residents of Rockaway Beach, Twin Rocks, or Nadana Beach, which are the 3 areas we officially serve. Of course, the remaining 51% of calls involved residents of those 3 service areas. Notices for the upcoming Planning Commission hearing to update the flood hazard overlay zone have been delivered. I've been told about 700 notices went out. Rockaway Beach lives in the flood zone, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on your perspective. Our staff is addressing questions from those receiving the letters. The purpose of the proposed zoning amendments are to promote public health, safety, and general welfare, minimizing public and private losses from flooding, and achieve compliance with the minimum national flood insurance program and state standards for floodplain management. The planning department continues to explore ways to improve our public-facing materials and increase the accessibility of information regarding land use regulations and processes. To this end, Planner Taffy has set up an internship program for students interested in government and land use. The focus of the internship is to further students' education and for staff to tailor the experience to students' interests and expectations. Students will help the city revamp the planning webpage, prepare and update our frequently asked question documents, and create guides to help residents navigate the permitting process. And then last, our free movies in the park at Phyllis Baker Park continues Saturday, August 1st with Field of Dreams. I actually can say I visited the site, and it's quite interesting to see the location in the baseball field that they built for the movie. I want to say a big thank you to Rockaway Beach Business Association, Sequest Gifts, All Professionals Real Estate, and Seabreeze Ice Cream for putting on movies in the park. With that, back to you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor. Let's move on. Do we have anybody on from the city of Garibaldi? Let's move on to Bay City then.
Good morning. This is Mayor Welch. How are you today?
Good morning, Mayor. Well, thank you.
So this morning at 9:30, we have coffee with the mayor and city manager. So residents here in Bay City, come join us. We have usually a very robust discussion. I'd like to thank the great staff of Bay City. We're very competent staff. Both the mayor and city manager were out vacationing last week, and everything ran smoothly here. They continue to monitor all the construction projects that we have going on, which are mostly supported by grants. So good job to our staff there. I'm also promoting our utility assistance program. So we have partnered with CARE to help manage this program. So if you can afford to pay an extra $5 a month or more on your utility bill, your water and sewer bill, then we have worked with CARE, and there are families that sometimes need a little extra help now and then. And so working with CARE to see that those families are able to get some help if they need to. And with that, I will end my report. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. I thank you for doing that work with partnering with CARE for emergency bills for local folks who need help. I think it's a wonderful way to approach it, because a lot of people could afford an extra $5 a month on their utility bill, and probably are happy to do that if they know that it's helping their neighbors. So I think that's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
And let's wrap the call up with Sean Lewis in the city of Tom. Hey, hello.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
So want to just rehash a couple of things. We are very ordinance heavy in our last couple of city council meetings. At our last city council meeting, as we've already discussed, we had a first reading for an ordinance that would prohibit any kind of towable. That would be an RV, a trailer, a boat, anything like that from being stored on city streets. The concept here is that you store your boat, your car, or your RV, your trailer, whatever, on your property or in a storage unit, and then street parking is for cars. And then it also establishes a 72-hour or continues the 72-hour time frame for cars, but the assumption there is that cars are moving more often than the RVs and boats would be. And that ordinance will have a second reading at our next meeting on August 3rd. That would be on Monday. And that second reading, if passed, the ordinance would then take effect 30 days later. The goal for right now is to educate the public. So our code enforcement staff is actively going around and letting people know that if you have a boat or an RV or a trailer stored on the street, that will need to move in the next several days, or you may be cited for that. Additionally, on this upcoming meeting on August 3rd, we will have a first reading for some draft ordinance changes to Chapter 72, the same chapter that we've been talking about, but this relates to downtown parking. As many people know, we've had a lot of conversations about downtown parking in Tillamook and how to best affect that, where all the street parking is set at 2 hours, and the city controlled lots are set at 4 hours, and there are employees and residents and people of our downtown business community that we've heard about. They don't have places to park for a shift. So what the city is doing is we are going to create and designate one of our city controlled lots as a 24-hour reserved parking. What this means is you won't purchase or get a pass for a specific stall. However, what you will get is if you choose to pay the fee, you will get an opportunity for a pass where we will only sell the number of passes for the number of stalls available. So you won't have a guaranteed spot in that, hey, spot number 3 is my spot, but you'll have a guaranteed spot in that we're only going to sell 20 passes for 20 stalls for that particular lot. The other parking lots within the city that are city controlled, so this is we call it the East Ivy lot, which is behind the Chamber and the Dutch Mill Cafe. And then the Stillwell lot, which is on the corner of First and Stillwell, on the southeast corner there. We will sell passes, and there will be an unlimited number of these passes that are basically a get out of jail free card. So we will still allow public and everybody to park in these lots. Anybody can park there for free for 4 hours. But if you have need to park there for more than 4 hours, we will sell you a pass that will be hang from your mirror and will allow our code enforcement people to say, hey, that guy's got a pass or that person has a pass. We won't enforce on their car because they've paid for the pass for the right to exceed the time limit. We feel that this is the best of both worlds. It allows the public to continue to park in our city-controlled lots, but it also allows those that have need to park for longer amounts of time to park there. The city will begin to sell these passes on a quarterly basis. The prices have yet to be determined. We have a price idea in mind, but these are passes would go on sale later in the fall once we have the website up to take these requests and take payments. But the first reading of the ordinance changes to allow for this to happen will be at our August 3rd meeting. So we encourage anybody that has an interest in parking downtown or in our business community to come and give us your thoughts on this. We feel like this is a good solution based on the feedback that we've heard from the business community that many businesses would be willing to pay a little bit extra for the ability to park. And what this came out of was we didn't want to put a business license fee on so everybody was paying for a few people to park, but this allows those that have need to park to pay a little bit extra to get that pass so they can have their choice of parking over the time limit in our city controlled lots or having a guaranteed space 24/7 if you need that for an extra fee. So hopefully this works out. We hope everybody comes out to our city council meeting on Monday to discuss this and to provide your input. We also want to give a big thanks to those that showed up to our movie in the park last Friday, and we had a really good turnout, over 100 people out to there, including one family that came from Bend and was on the front row with their camp chairs and said they saw our banners on the chamber banner boards that have been recently put up, and just said, hey, we want to go to the movie. And it was great to have them there. So I'm grateful that everybody came out. Our next big event is our National Night Out, which will be on August 4th. And that is Tuesday night, also at Goodspeed Park. This is the annual tradition that our police department puts on with free food, music, games, and the ever popular dunk tank, where you can dunk our mayor and police chief in water and take out your aggressions for anything that you disagree with on city decisions in that wholesome way. So we hope everybody comes out at 5 p.m. on August 4th for National Night Out. And I will end my report there. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Sean. Appreciate your report. Well, thanks today to everyone who participated. Thanks to everyone who listens to this call. And thank you, as always, to KTIL for broadcasting. This meeting is adjourned at 8:45. Have a great day, everyone.